Thank you so much for this good introduction. So hi, good morning all. Very good morning. So sorry, just we got late little bit, right? Okay. So welcome you all to this event. So the session is mainly focusing on industry updates in BIM and how we can connect the industry to our Indian system and even from the base of our education as well. So as you know, like from my side, I'm representing BIM channel. So currently, I'm the co-founder of BIM channel. Our main area is to handle BIM-based projects, especially all over the world. So currently, I'm focusing on UAE. So there, most of the projects are, like even you heard about this BIM and all those things many years before, like even around 10 to 15 years, it has been invading in the industry. But right now, this is becoming a little more into the action. So that is what we have to understand from this part of the world. Which means how, say for example, I came to know like even most of majority is from education department, right? From the colleges. Can I know if anybody is there from the industry? Working professionals? Okay, fine, great. Okay, so whatever it may be, like even what I want to do is like even I need to relate what is happening here and what is the industry abroad. Okay, what is the system, what we are going to see in the industry abroad. And so far as education institution, like even colleges and everything is concerned, like how we need to create a bridge to the students who are planning to get a good job in this industry. And especially as a professional, how we can get uplifted to that level, okay? So that is the point. So as you heard before, like even we have one of my friend, she's 𝗕𝗜𝗠 𝗕𝗜𝗠. She's the BIM co-founder of one company in Middle East. So she'll be joining to our session afternoon. So even what is the main intention behind this session is to give you a clarity on what is happening in the industry and how you can connect those two things. So even don't consider this as a, hi. So don't consider this like a, what you call, a very strict session, like even please be interactive. And I wanted to share your thoughts on this concept, and then we need to just make it more interactive. And even you can ask anything related to this BIM, and whatever I know from my side, I can just share it with you with my experience as well. So currently, what you heard about this BIM, or what is the main idea behind this? What is the main idea that you know about BIM? So if we will start from there. I think ma'am can share a little more.
Yeah, I'm also very new to BIM, basically, but I've heard a little bit from here and there. And once you use BIM, this management system, you can coordinate all the expertise behind any construction, like services, MEPs, then sustainability, including tender making. So the entire thing will be much more easier, and many countries can work together at a time in a cloud. And whenever there is an error, you don't need to sit and find out the error. There is a plugin which will tell you where the error is. And the coordination is very simpler. The project management is, 100% efficient with zero time wastage. That's all I...
More than enough.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. So this is the nutshell of what the BIM system is happening in the industry. So like ma'am mentioned actually few things, like even which are the challenges what we are facing, like even how to coordinate with the team, or how to coordinate with the people who are surrounding in different countries of the world, and how we can manage it in a proper system. So this is the most important challenges what we are facing. So actually these new system called BIM and even digital construction, what is the purpose of having some new concepts in order to make our life easier, right? So that is what we have to understand, because you can see many things about BIM, like even many articles are there, many companies are following this BIM system, but still we need to have a standardization, or how to make easy ways to get into the BIM. That is the point what we need to understand. So that is what I have to share with you in this one, because currently I am working as a BIM manager for the Saudi 2030 Vision project. Actually, it's a city, it's completely a big district that is going to happen in Saudi. And even it's a massive project. And even you heard about NEOM, right? NEOM is one of the biggest project what is being happening, and even it's around billions and billions of the value. The value of the project is much more unbelievable. And even many companies are working from many countries, many different parts of the world to attain a single aim. So that is what we have to understand so far as we are coming from Kerala, right? Okay. So I would like to show you something. Okay. Before going to this technical part, I would like to thank CAD International and Design, along with Autodesk, for organizing such a kind of program, because this is purely not related to any software. This is directly connecting what is happening in the industry. So that's what we have to see. So I take this opportunity to thank CAD International and Design, especially with Autodesk. And obviously, our head office means CAD International head office is in Dubai, and it is connected with Knowledge and Human Development Authority, Dubai, and even 𝗕𝗜𝗠. 𝗕𝗜𝗠 is the associated company whose co-founder will be joining with us in the afternoon through Zoom. Okay, so even you can also share those ideas with her, and even whatever queries you can, we'll make it more interactive. Okay, so okay, right? You are relaxed? Okay, fine. So this is the agenda, what we have. I hope you can see what is the plan for today. Like even we'll be having a quick session till, now it is, okay, the time has been delayed, but still, we'll see how to go with it. Okay. So a small idea about my site. So currently, these are the projects what I'm working now with. And she's the person who will be joining with us. And she's the co-founder of this 𝗕𝗜𝗠 Engineering Consulting Services. And even she has won the BIM Hero of 2022, the BIM Coordinator Summit. So even this, I would request you all to take this opportunity to explore your side and to get the best from this today. So anyway, we are spending the whole day. So I would request you to ask questions and even feel free and completely open to me, okay? So even something should be beneficial by the end of the day. Otherwise, simply sitting and going is not at all sufficient, right? So even please make sure it is happening. And yeah, so as I ask you, like even what is the concept of BIM? Ma'am clearly explained what is the practical side of the BIM, but still, like even if you can go for a kind of small definition, everything should have a definition, right? So that is what I have to explain. Like many people have a thought that BIM or BIM is kind of a software. How many of you still think that BIM is a software? Okay. Anybody else? No. Okay, so you know that there is a system, right? So I have to tell you, like even this BIM is actually a system, or you can say a process, in order to digitally represent the complete built asset. Built asset means what? Whatever you are going to build. It can be an object to an extent to an infrastructure. So BIM doesn't mean it is only focusing on a building. Even it is connected to infrastructure also. This is one of the big thing what you have to understand from the beginning. It is a system from the point where the client discusses, from the point where the discussion happening with the client, and even the concept stage, concept design happens, and even detailed design happens, construction starts, as-built happening, and even handing over, and even after handing over, how the services are managed. All those things are managed through this system called BIM. Okay, so please keep in mind, BIM, first of all, is not a software. You can say like even it's a holistic process of creating and managing information for a built asset. So that is the point. Any questions? No questions. See, this is what I don't want. Like even I want you to be open, please. Then only it will be effective by the end of that. Otherwise, you will sit and simply hear what I'm telling will not be beneficial for you, because I also attended many programs like this. So even what we do is like, we'll sit there and we'll not be interactive, and then we'll not get anything. Just some ambience we'll get, nothing more than that. So I don't want that to be like this here. So I want you to be free and then just ask your questions, no matter when it is. Okay? Again and again, I'm stressing that, okay? All right, so what I have to tell you is that in this all process, we have to manage, or we have to understand, like, even this is a complete information modeling from the birth to the entire life cycle. This is the point. Is there any controversy in this? The complete information modeling from the birth to the entire life cycle. Any controversy? Entire life cycle means what? Exactly. After construction till, say for example, we consider 50 years of life for the project. So even after 50 years, we will demolish it, renovate. It means redesigning happens. So even that is all connected with this concept of BIM. So that is why it doesn't mean you are just handing over and then khalas, nothing like that. So that is the point what we need to understand, like even from the birth to the entire life cycle. So
what's the technology behind many of the iconic architectural structures being built today? It's a process called building information modeling. BIM is a 3D modeling process that is changing the way people plan, design, construct, and operate buildings and infrastructure around the globe. As early as the 1960s, computer pioneers realized the demand for flexible digital building models. The breakthrough came in 1963 when Ivan Sutherland developed Sketchpad. This rudimentary application allowed users to define geometry and manipulate objects in space with only the help of an electronic stylus on a computer screen. However, these early predecessors built models without data on functional performance characteristics, meaning that without the information on how buildings work, they were rather superficial implementations. In 1984, these BIM forerunners became available for use on personal computers. But it wasn't until 1986, when Robert H. coined the phrase building modeling, that early programs were first used on large and complex projects, such as the renovation of a Heathrow Airport terminal. In 1993, the Lawrence Berkeley National Lab's development of Building Design Advisor paved the way for systems providing performance data on how buildings and their components function. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, the contemporary outline of BIM had started to crystallize. Objects and shapes had fully embedded metadata and were able to understand their relationship with each other and the building as a whole. 2004 was a huge year for BIM. For the first time, designers, builders, engineers, and owners could all work collaboratively on one centralized, dynamically updated model. For example, if a designer made a change to the model, the project's construction shopping list automatically changed too, such as the number and size of windows. 2008, 4 years later, parametric modeling also took a step forward with an avalanche of design outputs, giving users even greater control over their project decisions. Meanwhile, laser scanning and reality capture filled BIM models with precise, abundant data, saving time in project preparations, and clash detection made it possible to automatically locate on-site clashes, such as ductwork running through beams, and prevent expensive change orders. With help from clash detection, engineers for the China Zun Tower in Beijing caught thousands of issues in the BIM model. It reduced passive change orders by 80% compared to other similar projects. The indisputable efficiencies in time, material, and cost driven by BIM meant that in 2016, the UK became the leader in legally mandating that all public-funded building projects must use BIM. And other countries are soon following suit. By 2020, Germany is mandating BIM for all transportation projects. With BIM now in the cloud, teams can collaborate on the same model from all over the world, providing great efficiencies. In the near future, BIM and GIS data will merge into one model, helping designers make crucial decisions based on the precise geographic location. As 3D modeling technology advances and is more commercially accessible, the BIM process is becoming more and more integrated with building the wider world, promising a richer, more collaborative experience for users designing and building the spaces we live and work in.
Right. So this is a quick, short history of how we reach now. So what we need to understand is that like even through these all videos, like even we have seen like even many technologies, many system came up. And now everywhere the issue or the situation, the problem comes is how to solve the issues. We can call like even a mitigation strategy need to be planned. Even whatever role you are playing in a project, sometimes you may be a lead architect, sometimes you may be a kind of project manager, sometimes anything. Whatever role you are playing, you should have a proper mitigation strategy. So that is the role of a proper manager in this BIM system. So there arise the level of a BIM manager for a project. That is the highest position what we can assume in a BIM-based project. So what I have to tell you is that like even manual drafting where there is Sketchpad, AutoCAD, and even ArchiCAD, Revit, and even some 3D modeling software like SketchUp, 3ds Max. So I have a question, like even do we have to connect 3ds Max and SketchUp with BIM? Yes? Why? Can somebody give a mic? Like even what is the role of SketchUp and 3ds Max in BIM? Because normally we know like even these are the 3D modeling software, right? Okay. Please make a quick introduction about you and then please.
Okay, my name is Diana James and I'm a 3 years experienced professional in BIM and now doing MTech in structural engineering and construction management. So, okay, what is the relation of this 3ds Max? And I think 3ds Max and SketchUp can be used for conceptual modeling, and from that conceptual stage we can connect to a BIM stage. So for that purpose we can use this.
Exactly, because as I told you, thank you so much.
Welcome.
So the thing is like the concept is the first stage of a project, right? So even when an architect comes to the scene, like even how we'll convey to the client, like even what is the project that is going to happen. So even for that one, SketchUp or 3ds Max is the first tool what we'll be using in this case. But the most important challenge what we will be facing in most of the project is connecting this 3D software, 3D modeling software to a BIM environment is very risk. Very risk in the sense, especially when you're dealing with some kind of massive projects, the information is having much important. It is not how it look like. It is not only how it look like. Obviously that is important from the aesthetic point of view, from an architecture point of view, that is good. But the detailing is what values. And only when it comes to the construction stage, the detailing is more valid compared to the design. So there, in that scenario, Autodesk has launched a product called Format, Autodesk Format. So that is actually meant for developing a conceptual model where you don't have anything, like even you don't have anything in the sense you will not be showing any details or nothing, just a kind of, what do you call it, dummy placeholders, like such a kind of object is what you are mentioning in the project with a basic informations like general materials or blah, blah, blah. So the thing is, when you are going to those things, information management, that is what you have to understand. When it comes to the project, for a building it is okay. What about this horizontal? Horizontal means what? Infrastructure, exactly. So when it comes to the infrastructure, the situation is totally different. So that's what I have to take it to your mind that, like even concept design, which software we are using in BIM. How you are connecting the concept to the BIM system, both for vertical BIM and horizontal BIM. So now you understood what is the difference between vertical BIM and horizontal BIM, right? So vertical BIM mostly focus on buildings, but horizontal BIM is actually, it is connected with infrastructure. So right now, you know, like even Expo 2020 was there in Dubai. So it was one of the big, they started long back and then last year they just finished it off. So now the point was, for that one, they have developed a big size road and even bridges and even metro lines were added. Many things are added onto the project. So it was very challenging. So what is the situation? How we'll coordinate? For coordinator, building itself is very difficult, right? So even for coordinating an infrastructural projects, that is the point what we need to understand. So that's what we have to tell. We have to point that mitigation strategy is the highest point in BIM, especially when you are dealing with what kind of, let it be a kind of horizontal and even the vertical. And currently, BIM channel, we just associated with the project NEOM, the NEOM project, like even Saudi, it is going to happen now. So in that one, you heard about the project called The Line. You're aware about that one. So it's around 172-kilometer long project, and even it's a kind of 200, it's a massive project, and even completely artificial intelligence, IoT, many things are being integrated into the project. So currently we have just joined for that project for managing the BIM for a tunnel. So the tunnel is the scope. So tunnel comes with infrastructure. So how you will manage a tunnel? Is it an important thing, or? Because obviously, like even drill and blast system is what they have used there. So even at every 500 meters, we'll drill, and then we'll just develop those particular part, and then we'll build the steel structures, and then place the concrete case up, and then the next 500 meters, and then finally, like even this is what being constructed. For constructing this one, we need to connect additional, say for example, sub tunnels. Then only the people can reach there. Okay, so it's very challenging. So like even this is very challenging in the case of modeling, as far as it is more challenging in the case of a real site there. So the point is, everything points at one point called BIM. So there comes the role of a BIM professional or a BIM specialist. Like even how we will use BIM. Most of the people, 90% of the people who comes with the CV called BIM specialist, they know only Revit. So that is a controversy as well. The point is, like even controversy point is, like even when you are going for Revit knowledge as a BIM specialist, there you can work like a draftsman. Like even how the draftsmen work now, that is the same situation what you can see if you go with Revit knowledge alone. We call those person as BIM modeler. So BIM modeler works as a draftsman in the industry with Revit software. That is the difference. So the point is, that is the first stage. When it comes to the reality, it comes into the next, what you call, all those coordination and everything. So the point is, even, have you heard about the software called Navisworks? So Navisworks is the best tool what will help us to manage all these issues there. So even when you go for horizontal and even the vertical BIM, the concept lies with managing or coordination. So coordination, we have to follow or we have to focus on the software called Navisworks. Even in whichever software you model is not at all an issue. Say for example, infra models are being carried out with Civil 3D. You know the software Civil 3D, right? Civil 3D is the key software to do the infrastructural modeling. Before, it was MicroStation. MicroStation was a software which was, everyone were using the same software called MicroStation. But recently, most of the project is being carried out with Civil 3D. So where I am pointing is, like even it is not only Revit. Okay, so apart from the Revit, when it comes to this infrastructure or horizontal BIM concept, we have to manage like even Civil 3D, MicroStation, and even when it comes to the structural side, we have STAAD Pro, ETABS for analysis part. That is also related with BIM, okay? And even Tekla. Tekla is one of the, the Museum of Future in Dubai. Museum of Future is completely organic building. So for organic building and all, it's not concrete structures, right? Even it is like even steel structures, and also pre-engineered construction is what they are following there. So for that one, space frames will be there, connections, all the things need to be connected into one single platform. So there we have to follow Tekla. Tekla is a software, and also that is also connected with BIM. So industry is that everybody is coming to the system called BIM. So there comes the role of the young people or the people who are coming to this area to understand the real side of BIM, like even what the reality is. So this is what I have to tell you, like even horizontal and vertical BIM is the part there. So this is a question to you, okay? So I wanted response from you guys. So what is the traditional practice of a general design? What is being followed here? I want all of you to be responsive. Chance is open to all. Again, what is the traditional practice for a project? The design stages. What are the design stages in a project? Please raise your hands. We will give you the mic, so please come up. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, my name is 𝗕𝗜𝗠 I think first one is planning. Then is it for whole building work or design work?
Design side only.
Design side.
Design
so
side.
structural design.
Design in the sense like even the initial.
First will be a planning or site. First we need to find out the site.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that planning is there. Planning whether sanction works is there. Then coming to planning.
Okay.
Then architecture planning, site planning, all those plannings. Then come to structural works, and we will estimate the quantities.
Okay.
Then we need to do project planning.
Okay.
And
Planning is done later or?
No, before that.
Okay.
Before.
Then finally handing over.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. This is actually one way of handling a project. Is there any other views on the project? I won't come to you, ma'am. Any other points? Yeah.
My name is Praveena.
Okay.
First, after finding out the site, we go for soil test and all.
Okay.
Soil investigation.
Okay.
Soil test after, and we'll find out the bearing capacity of the soil and we'll decide what type of foundation we are going to do for the structure.
Okay.
And after that, preparing plan, design and all.
Okay.
And setting out an excavation, cut and filling. That for a big project, that is also very important.
Exactly. Okay.
That additional points.
Then remaining things. Okay, very good. Thank you so much. Any other still? Yeah. Actually, when you see the next slide, everybody will get stared.
Hi, my name is Nimisha.
Yeah.
This is when project management consultants come into picture. So first they will be coordinating with the architectural team and then the structural team. So first they will be deciding on the column spacing and everything. Once the architectural plan is being finalized, then the structural design will be going on. And then after the sanctions and all in between, then the MEP, HVAC people, all of them will be coming, and that's how. And once the structural drawings are released, the construction can start happening. And traditionally, the MEP and all will come only after the construction of structural things has happened.
Okay. So what time they will start designing?
Traditionally, they will be starting designing only after the structural design is complete.
Okay.
And once the construction is
So
started.
obviously, we'll have a debate now. All right. That's good.
Thank you.
And then services and all comes in the next stages. Okay. That's great. Still, I would like to get something. Mic is free now.
Actually, before all, I think there should be detailed layout for the space that we need. From there, it starts the architecture details, then structure.
Architecture detailing will be okay.
Architecture layout,
Okay,
just
fine.
layout.
Okay.
Then it comes the structure, but as a debate, I won't suggest that everything will be, MEP works will be done after structure works.
Okay.
Actually, I think it is a cycle.
Exactly.
Which,
Simultaneous cycle.
there is no end, repeating cycle between architecture, structure, and MEP. I don't think these three happens just after another. There is no such a stage. Actually, these three things are a cycle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you. So anybody from the front side? This is what I told you, like, even please come up, so even we'll share our views, then we'll learn. Sharing and learning, right? Anybody? Okay. Construction management planning, okay. That is all fine. Any other views? Tendering. Okay. Should I? That's it. Costing. Costing is also important. So initial costing. So that is what tendering. At what stage the tendering comes. So even this is what important. This is what we have to standardize or we have to unify now itself. Like even how a project begins and what are the stages. So what I'm telling is like even at each stage of the project, we have to do the BIM deliverables at that standards. So even I would like to hear from you.
Yeah, I've been doing these kind of huge projects in Kerala.
Okay.
So I was facing this problem was management within all these consultants. That's why I suggested BIM as the base for the whole management system. So how do we practice in the traditional practices of Kerala or India, I would say is right. In the beginning, we will come up with the, since I'm an architect, we start with the architect and we deliver the conceptual plans, and then once the client say yes to that conceptual plans, because they won't be knowing the technicalities behind the project. So even before delivering the concepts, in my projects, I do consult all my consultants parallelly, so that if I come up with an odd shape or something, whether the structural consultant should be able to sort it out and my MEP team should say yes to that, then only I deliver even the conceptual plan. Because once the concept is delivered, I cannot change my client's mind.
Exactly.
So you should stick to that. So before that itself, you should coordinate with all the teams to come into a conceptual design. That's how.
This is the great point what I am also expecting. Like even the point is, this is the most important challenge we are facing.
Otherwise, you will end up with, it is not possible.
It's not possible.
So there's
It's
no
not
point you
practical,
being an architect delivering a concept.
Exactly. For a small scale project, it's fine.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like even when we have more people
That's what,
on board, like
infrastructure and everything is connected, then it's very difficult.
Very
Even if you tackle with different materials which is not available in India, you might need technicalities from outside.
Logistics side is also need to be
definitely
added up.
yes. Even structural consultants we need to get from outside.
Exactly.
So that is very important.
Exactly.
In the end, you might drop the project because it's not possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even this is the challenge what we faced in one of our project also. So the thing is, any other points? Anybody else? Sorry, just on the next slide. Anybody, any other points? If it is not there, I'll just go to the next. That is better, right? Okay. So even this is what being practiced in the projects. Most of the project, I guess this is the way in the real projects as well. So the point is, concept design stage is the first. Say for example, 100 days that is the stage of the project. Say for example, first 20 days are given for concept design. So that concept design is not only the role of an architect. That is the controversy. Not controversy, that is the reality, what you can say. Like even in the concept stage, we need to take up the structural team, MEP guys, lighting, means kitchen equipments, everybody should be on board. And they should prepare a proper plan at the design stage itself. Because in massive project, it is not only lying in the hand of an architect. Obviously, concept is important. Services are important, as we see, like even the form should follow the function, right? So the functionality is the important thing here. So from the concept stage, everybody will be coming into the board. And once the concept is approved from the client, obviously for the big projects, you will be having two phases, like 50% of CD, we call it like CD, and 100% of CD. So there we have to deliver the projects based upon the basic informations. Say for example, the concept model, it should not be in SketchUp. It should be in Revit. Or at least the base framework should be in SketchUp. That is fine, totally fine. At the time of discussions with the PowerPoint presentation to the clients, it's okay. But when it comes to the detailed presentations, we need to deliver that in Revit only. So that is the importance of Revit software. So even that same Revit is being linked on a live basis with MEP and structure team through the cloud platform called Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. It was older, it was BIM 360. Now it is Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. We call it like ABC Pro. We have planned for a live demonstration in the next session for that one. The point is, when it comes to the concept design, the client will be also there in this BIM 360 platform or BIM Collaborate Pro platform there. So even client can see what is happening in the design, even in all the cases. And also client side will be also having the BIM team. So what they will do, they will just cross-verify like even what the consultants are delivering. And even apart from the client side, we call it like a project management consultancy, PMC. Okay, so project management consultancy will be working for the client to check the quality of the project, whether their deliverables are on track. And apart from this PMC, there will be another team in the project called peer reviewer. So that is again another company who doesn't have any role in the design. Their idea is to check the practical side of the design. If the architects are delivering it based upon proper data or proper protocols, especially country-based protocols are totally different, because the project system what we are following in UAE will not be the same thing in KSA. It will not be the same thing in India. Because even in Dubai, we have to follow the civil defense guidelines. That is not the system what we have to follow in Saudi. That is not the thing what we have to follow here in India. So that is what the country-based or the standardization protocols need to be monitored by a peer reviewer. That will be obviously another company. So they will not be modeling. They'll be just reviewing the model. And again, that is through BIM Collaborate Pro or BIM 360. So once the concept is done, then comes the schematic side. So what do you mean by the schematic? Drawings comes, detailing, little more detailing comes. So can anybody tell me a little more about the schematic style? Exactly, preliminary analysis based upon structural as well as general operational analysis is being carried out at schematic stage, and there comes the landscape team will be adding up, and even landscape services will be coming in, and even entire collaboration is what happening there. So in schematic stage also, everyone should deliver, should do the deliverables. Everyone means what? Means who? Architects, structural engineers, MEP engineers, and even specialty equipments. Everyone should come to the action there in the schematic stage. And again, that is coming in 50% and 100%. And even you have to submit it both drawings and BIM models. So I have a question. Like even we know like even BIM is actually a model, right? So what is the relevance of drawings now? Because everything is available in Revit model. So is drawings necessary or not? Obviously. You will kill me. Obviously, drawings are very important, because even though we do the Revit model as the deliverables, we need to get the drawings. Exactly, because execution is the most challenging. So for the execution part, we need to get the drawings. Even nobody will go to this Revit model and then go into it. That's not practical. So the point is, in the BIM system, what BIM insists you is to develop the BIM model first and then extract the 2D drawing. That is the thing what BIM insists you. But in 90% of the project, it is happening in reverse. Why? Because now most of the companies, Revit experts are very limited. Okay, so the point is, in that scenario, the company fails to do the deliverables on the date. Submission delays happens, and even the client will pressurize you, and even you need to find out any way to get the deliverables done on that day. So even you will follow AutoCAD. AutoCAD is, even most of the people are having 20 years plus experience, so they'll be fluent in AutoCAD. And for a people who are experienced in Revit, it will take a little bit time. Errors will be there, and even managing those errors are also quite complicated. That is why most of the architects have a point. Not only architects, most of the professionals have a point, like even Revit is a waste. I know that like this will be also a controversy, but that is the reality. Even in the project which I'm handling now, actually we have a discussion, now the SD 100% is happening now. This November, this is the coming date is their submission. So even in that one, ID team is coming into action. Interior designing team has came to vote. ID BIM modeling and ID BIM drawings have a big difference. You can draft anything. Okay, even you can create the sections, you can create all those are 2D drafts. No, that is very easy, and manipulation are easy with AutoCAD. You can do anything. Okay, manipulation is very easy, but in Revit that is not much easy, because in Revit we call a term called a change anywhere as a change everywhere. Because if you change here in the plan view, it will affect in the elevation section 3D everywhere. So the point is, if it is being changed there, that will affect the other one. But in the drawing, that is not the case. If you are changing in the drawing, it will be affecting only that PDF paper, because it is already 2D is there. So even that will not affect your other design, right? So even that is what we need to understand. Like even that, there comes the role of BIM experts. So there we have to follow, we have to come a little bit out of the box from Revit. You heard about a plugin called Dynamo. Dynamo is a visual programming plugin which we will be using to make such activities much more simpler. Okay, so even just alone with Revit will not work. So you have to find out some kind of solutions on this one by following some additional external plugins like Dynamo. Dynamo is one of the best thing, like the Python is the base of Dynamo, Python language. So even it's like completely like visual programming. So even you have to think logically and then get to a result, and that is a scenario with Dynamo. And all those things comes to action. So that's what I'm telling, like even those ID team finds it very difficult to deliver the BIM SD 100% BIM model. Why? Because even ID, like even say for example, if you have claddings, the fixation of the claddings are totally different. You will be having like even metal studs will be there. Sometimes plastering will pasted cladding will be there. Different methods are there for installation. So even SD or even in the Revit model, the client expects all those details. As you mentioned, like tendering, like even I have specified number 4 as tender package. So when it comes to the tender package, it's very messy. Like even you have to refer to the model what you have done at the previous stages to tender. So even all those things are calculated at that level. So that is the point. Challenging, right? So that is the point. So now schematic design comes in that way, and then comes the detailing. Okay, detailed design comes, and once the detailed designs, which includes each and every joineries and even the material detailing, material texture detailing, much more detail there. And once the DD model is done, we have to take those model to the tendering site. So the point is, what we have done till now is only design wise. Nothing with, it's all consultant activities. So once the detailed design happens, you should take this model to take up the quantities, tendering side. There comes the role of a contractor. So in the real projects, now only the contractor comes to the action. So what happens? Contractor will be referring the BIM model, what is being developed by the consultants, till DD stage. So they will refer, they will just check the material availability, and then they will just cross-check like even how it is happening. Is it practically possible or not? Or is the design just a kind of fantasy or just like a real design? So they will just compare with the practical availability, and then finally they will also submit a kind of BIM model for the tendering package with quantities. So once these two things are, obviously like even a tendering package, it is open, bid is happening. So even many people will be coming into the board, and even we means the client, the PMC, yeah, we have to finalize one particular people, one team in order to check everything, quality, and many things are there. So even once it is okay, you have to issue an IFC package. IFC packages, you know, right? Issued for construction. So earlier time it was all drawings. Right now we have to issue the IFC models. IFC package are coming in Revit models as well. So even everyone focus, hope you are not getting bored, right? Little bit. Okay, fine. You can have water is there available, so please get relaxed. Okay. So in the IFC package, what happens? Contracting team enters, and even once the contracting team refers to the design model, what they have done, they should prepare another package for as-built. That is the last phase in the project. So once as-built is developed, the construction proceeds, and even site execution starts. That is the process in BIM design. So I have to tell you something, like even these first two phases are okay. Like even up to schematic design, it's okay. Like even from detailed design onwards, sometimes it joins together. Like even DD and tendering can happen together. Quantities together, it can happen, depends upon the project. And obviously this is the general strategy. In some projects, it may vary. Okay, obviously it depends upon the project scope and the availability and the country-based operations, it's totally different there. So even you have to understand, so this is the scenario. So this is the BIM practice of handling a project in different stages. And now I have to tell you something. We have to coin a term called level of development. Okay? Level of development is there and level of detailing is there. I'm checking is it the time for break? Please tell me if you're getting, if you need some break, please let me know. I know that it's very boring to hear one person speaking throughout, right? Okay. So even, this is what I have to tell you, like even when a project starts, the level of development of a project starts from the concept stage, and we call that stage to be like even LOD 100. So LOD, level of development stage 100 means it's all about concept stage. So if you are getting engaged in a project of BIM and you are coming to this term called LOD, please understand that LOD means level of development if you are considering a project as a whole. If you are considering an object, say for example, if ID package of this conference room is our scope. So even there we have to focus. Say for example, this chair is our project. Obviously this chair can be our project, right? So the chair LOD represents level of detail. Okay. So up to what detail you have to model an entity in the project. So both are different. So even so far as a Revit modeler is concerned, their scope is to understand level of detail only, like even modeling, how much detail should be there in the object. But if you are considering the project in a bigger scale, you have to understand level of development where the project starts from the concept, schematic, detail, IFC or construction, and as-built. So it starts from 100, then 200, then 300, 350 and 400 is like even IFC and construction, all it's a kind of combination. And The BIM manager can decide like even how detailed we should have it. Okay. And then finally, once it comes to the next stage, you can even go for as-built LOD 500. So LOD 500 represents, it's all about as-built only. So what I'm trying to tell is that when you all are coming to a project in BIM, obviously Revit will be there, right? So even when, suppose you might be a reviewer, sometimes you might be the person who is working on the model. So just understand what all things need to be added into each LOD stages. Okay, if you can note down, just please note on one term called LOIN, level of information need. It is actually a set of document which defines how much detail should be there in each and every package. I'll show you a file for that one, but it's actually confidential. That's why I'll show you after the session there. Okay. So the thing is, in that one, the BIM manager is responsible for defining how much detail you should show at each and every stage. Say, for example, wall. If we consider the wall alone, in LOD 100, what all things need to be added in the wall? In LOD 200, what all things need to be added in the wall? So like the way up to as-built, there is a standard procedure. So in BIM, we have to follow that. That is why I'm telling like even BIM is not just a 3D modeling. In 3ds Max modeling and all, it is easy. Like even you can just show some, it's only visual. But here it comes to the detailing also. So visual is important along with the detail there. So that is the concept of level of development. And if you can see like some more detailed explanation, what I have told you now, just please go through those words there. Meanwhile, I'll have a small drink. Concept design, schematic. So please read it like even model elements are graphically represented in the model with a symbol or any other generic component. Like it can be a symbol. If you are developing a conceptual model, sometimes a dot can represent many things. That a BIM-based person will know. Like even that dot represents this. Sometimes if you want to represent this table, it will be a cylinder only. You need not show the leg and everything, just a cylinder, it's like a placeholder. You are indicating like even it is something is there. Normal design procedure itself, but it given another name, another definition digitally, that's it. Hi. And then schematic, you can see like, I would like to see the, the difference between each stages, okay. In LOD 100, almost you can find similar sentences, but a small difference will be there. So please focus on those text in detail. Questions, please. Anything to ask? Please feel free. Okay. So I'll tell you one thing what happens in the last week. So last week, actually, I told you before, like even those ID team was adding to our project. So even they were not aware about the BIM system, like even how a BIM works with the project. So even they were just making a debate to us in such a way that we, actually I was working for the lead design consultant. So even their concern was LDC, lead design consultants, are simply raising some kind of questions. Like even we have to follow, means what we are telling them is like even you should follow the BIM standards. So even your deliverables should be in that level, then only even we can accept it. Or even the client will be getting the same standard level. So the thing is, once it is done, since they don't have expertise in this field, but they are experienced. That is the double side what we'll be facing, no? So even it took much more difficult to convey them like even what is the requirement in the project and then how they have to deliver those requirements. So even that will be the challenge what you will be also facing when you are going to enter into a project. The proper awareness of BIM is really important. Okay, so when it comes to the action, like even awareness is very, very important. And even the same situation comes with the modeling also. Like, anybody having Revit experience here? Revit other than 2, 1, 2, 3, okay. Okay, so like even how you will model a wall, can I give the mic? Okay. I wanted to hear something from you. Nothing. Don't need. So like even, please have a seat. Like my question is like even how you are modeling a wall in Revit in the projects what you have done before. What kind of inputs you have given for creating a wall?
The width of the wall, then the material property, like whether it's a laterite wall or a concrete block, then the height of the wall,
Okay.
as per the height of the building.
Okay, so the material, no plastering, no painting, nothing.
So after that, after modeling, we'll give the this one, I guess.
Like I'm asking like even how you are giving those, what do you call the plastering and paint and everything for the wall? Because, yeah.
Inside the material option, like we'll give the surface characteristics as plastering and the color of the paint.
Okay. Actually, one of the challenge or one of the thing what we need to say, we have a wall. On top of the wall, we'll be having the slab which is covering to the core exterior face. On top of that, again, we'll be having a wall, right?
Yeah.
And plaster should be covering including the slab with the paint. So even how you will, is there any problem or is there any challenge in doing this thing in Revit? Because this is very simple. But this is the most common mistake what we are seeing in most of the projects. So even do you have any solution for that? For those who are new to Revit, I think you didn't get the point, right? See, actually in Revit's wall, we have an option to add a layer to the cross section. So normally we have laterite wall, 200 mm. Exterior face, you can add a layer of 20 mm. Interior face also, you can add a layer 20 mm, which is normally the plaster. And apart from that one, next to that, we should have the paint. Say, for example, 2 mm, 3 mm, whatever the paint is there. And if claddings are there, the situation is different. Let us consider a normal wall. So in Revit, we have an option to develop the wall in such a way that we can add each layer individually. What is the purpose? When it comes to the tendering stage, we can get the quantity of the plaster. And also, how much quantity of paint is required on a particular wall. So it will make your time easier. Like even the quantity team also, it's very difficult to get up the quantities, right? So if you're modeling in such a way that in Revit, you will get it very easily. So the point is, when a wall is created, the core layer of the wall, the laterite's exterior face and the slab's exterior face should be flushed with each other, and the plastering layer should be outside. Okay, such a way that like even when someone looks from outside, you can see like even one single layer is shown as the plaster, right? So even that will affect your quantity. So even this is what I was telling, like even such minute details are very important in BIM platform, especially when you're dealing with Revit. And also you heard about a software called Costex and PlanSwift estimation. You worked with that? Okay.